This is the second of a two-part video made from the text of William Walker Atkinson's Arcane Formulas. It was written in 1909 and is in the public domain. This is a companion to his book The Arcane Teaching, and also fits nicely with the Kabbalion. It is from Lesson 10, Mentalism in a Nutshell. Now the text begins. Mental imaging. The secret of mental alchemy may be stated as consisting first, last and always, of the art of mental imaging, reinforced by the will. Take up your lead pencil and mark the above statement, so that you will see it easily when turning over these pages. While to the beginner the subject of mentalism may seem a very complicated one, the advanced occultist knows it to be the extreme of simplicity. Mental alchemy, under whatever same it may masquerade, may be found to consist, at the last, of simply the power to create strong, clear mental images, and to project them into the outer world by means of the concentrated will. Read over the above italicized words several times, and fix them firmly in your mind. You will find that all that you ever have read on the subject may be boiled down to the above stated principle. The rest is a mere matter of detail. This single statement is mentalism in a nutshell. Whether in the matter of the effect of mentalism upon persons with whom you are in direct personal contact, or else in the case of persons or bodies of people remote from you in distance, or in the case of the changing of material environment and circumstances, the principle is ever the same, i.e., the projection of your mental image into objectivity, and the materializing of that picture by the operation of the law of attraction. The ancient teachers used, as a material object lesson to their pupils, a simple contrivance which we now know in a perfected form as the magic lantern, either in its simple form, or else in the moving picture apparatus. The teachers would project upon a plane surface the reflection of a design or picture which was passed in front of a concentrated light, the reflection being reproduced on a large scale on the plane surface, at a greater or lesser distance. The teachers would explain to the neophytes that the concentrated light represented the focused will. The slide containing the picture represented the mental image held in the mind. The plane surface represented the objective world. As a matter of fact, the analogy between the magic lantern and the phenomena of mentalism is almost exactly parallel, to a certain degree and extent. The pupils of the ancient teachers were bidden to fix this symbol firmly in their minds, and to recall it always when practicing or manifesting any of the phenomena of mentalism. And we, likewise, urge all of our students to fix firmly in their minds this symbol of the magic lantern, and always to recall it when they practice mentalism. By holding this idea in the mind, the student will be able to give an increased force, power, and reality to the projection of mental images. Do not pass this by, lightly and carelessly. It is most important to you. If this book contained merely this one bit of instruction, it would be well worth your while to study it. With this symbol still in mind, we see that the power and strength of the projection depends materially upon the strength and focused force of the light in the lantern. If the light be weak, or dim, or flickering, the reflection will be likewise. And, if the rays of the light be not focused and concentrated properly, the force and power of the light will not be properly directed and applied. Therefore, in mentalism, you must rest as fully in the will consciousness as possible, and also must hold the will firmly concentrated upon the task before you. Likewise, if the slide containing the picture, the mental image, be poorly and faintly drawn, the reflection will also be faulty. In fact, the fault will be more apparent, for it will be magnified according to the distance it is projected. Therefore, cultivate the art of mental imaging, and endeavor to train your imagination to see clearly that which you wish to project into the objective world for the purpose of materialization. Train your imagination to form and hold plain, clear pictures of the things and conditions which you wish to materialize in the objective world. Upon this one thing depends much of the efficacy and success of the processes of mentalism. If you cannot fill in the details of your mental picture at first, at least draw firm, strong general outlines, and as you begin to materialize objectively you will be able to add the details. Materialization of thought. There are certain laws in operation in the cosmos, by reason of its very nature, which tend to materialize thought images. The very cosmos, itself, is a materialization of the ideas in the cosmic brain. And, by the law of analogy, the same thing is true on all planes. From 1. Know all, as above, so below, these are the axioms. There is a force in operation which has been called the law of attraction, by which like attracts like on all planes. And on the mental plane, the likes are materialized into corresponding likes on the material plane. Everything that is, first existed as an idea or mental picture, either in the cosmic brain, or in the brain of some living creature as well. There is always a mental plan behind and in every material form, shape or condition. The student should know this fact from a study of the arcane teaching, and by submitting the idea to the test of experience and reason. And, when this principle is clearly understood, the process of thought materialization through mentalism becomes quite plain and understandable. When the truth of thought materialization becomes fully understood, the student learns to avoid making mental images of the things which he does not wish to materialize, on the one hand, and to make mental images of the things which he does wish to materialize, on the other hand. When he realizes that mental things tend to materialize objectively, he has grasped a fundamental and important occult truth, and he governs himself accordingly. We urge every student to fix this idea firmly in his mind, for until he realizes that mental images and the materialization thereof are but stages of the one process, he has not grasped the working principle of mentalism. When this fact is grasped, then the rest is merely a matter of practice, development, and application. Aids to mental imaging. The careful student doubtless will have recognized by this time that the process of statements and denials are but forms of aids to mental imaging. When the occult statement is used, there is created a mental image, consciously or subconsciously, and consequently there is given an additional urge to materialization. And in the same way, the occult denial tends to erase or wipe out the mental picture in one's own mind, in the minds of others, or in circumstances and environment, of conditions or things which are not desirable. We have stated that in addition to the above effect there are peculiar virtues and properties in the spoken word, of which we shall not speak further in this work, as it belongs to another phase of the general subject. Do not undervalue the occult statement and the occult denial. They are powerful factors in mentalism, in the direction of strengthening and vitalizing the mental images. General application. The average student reading this book will doubtless expect that we will now enter into a detailed description of the various forms of the application of mentalism, in the form of mental imaging and thought materialization. But we have no such intention. If this work were to be extended into several volumes for the sake of money-making and humoring the popular taste and demand, we might do so. It would be easy to fill several volumes with detailed description of various forms of application, but to what purpose? The keen analytical student would soon discover that what had been done was simply to build various structures around the one vital and underlying principle of mental imaging and projection. We prefer that our students shall think and work for themselves, and not be mere blind followers of any teacher or teachers, even of ourselves. There is no room for lazy minds in the ranks of true occultism. Mentalism cannot be given or taken in sugar-coated capsules, one before each meal, like quack medicines. It must be thought out, and worked out in actual practice. So, if you wish your mentalism in capsules, tabloids, or sugar-coats, you must go elsewhere for it. The field is full of occult nostrums, as many of you have found out. What we shall do, in place of the above, is to give you a formula by which you can work out and manifest every form of mentalism for yourself. No matter how complicated the form may be, it may be worked out by this formula. We shall not attempt to prove this to you. You can best prove it by actual practice in your own experiments or occult work. We cheerfully stake our reputation as practical occultists upon its efficacy. Try it for yourself, and see what you can accomplish by it. The formula has borne the test of ages, and the experiments and practice of many of the best occultists of the past and present. Consequently, we do not hesitate to stake our reputation upon it. The Arcane Formula. The first thing in applying this arcane formula of mentalism is for the student to lay aside all other theories of mentalism, for the time being. Forget all about thought force, mind waves, mental currents, and the rest of it. These are mere details, and are of no value in the real work of mentalism. Forget all about theory, for the time being, and then proceed to get down to actual work. Then, fix firmly in your mind the symbol of the magic lantern, with its concentrated light of will, and its painted slide of the mental image. Regard the objective world, or persons, things, and circumstances, as the great plane surface upon which you wish to throw or project your mental images that they may materialize objectively. Get this picture clearly in your mind. See your I as the light in the lantern, with its concentrated will focused directly upon the mental image slide of the lantern. Hold this idea in mind. Whenever you practice mentalism, always stand behind your mental images, as the light in the lantern. Then, having your mental image impressed upon your imaginative lantern slide, direct and point your lantern tube upon whatever object in the outside world you wish. If it is a person whom you wish to impress with your thought, mentally direct and focus your mental magic lantern upon him, just as you would upon a plane surface, whether he be far or near. All treatments, as they are called in certain circles, are based upon this principle. The mental image is projected by means of the highly concentrated will. If a number of persons are to be impressed, they may be considered as present in a group, or else the lantern tube may be turned first upon one and then upon another, and so on. If general conditions or environments are to be treated, image them as a whole, and focus your lantern tube directly upon them, producing a projection of gigantic proportions. Surely, these directions cover the whole process. Read them over, again and again, until you grasp them thoroughly and fully. In the cases of persons whom you may wish to impress, you will find that better results may be obtained by either imaging them as seated or standing before you, in full short range of your mental magic lantern, or else, by imaging yourself as in the other person's presence, in his own place, turning your mental lantern full upon him. In the case of persons actually in your presence, proceed in the same way. Places, present or absent, may be treated in this way, in order to dispel undesirable conditions or vibrations. The vibrations of places may be entirely changed in this way. Conditions may be treated successfully by turning upon them a strong mental image of the changed conditions you wish to bring about. The entire category of the phenomena of mental transmutation or mental alchemy may be successfully undertaken by the use and application of this formula. You will find that this formula is applicable to all manner and kinds of condition. A little analysis of each and every case will show you that the formula is applicable to it. Let not the simplicity of this method cause you to discard it in favor of some more technical, complicated or metaphysical theoretical method. This method overrides all theories of the metaphysical schools, and analysis of the latter, divested of the surrounding theories, will show the underlying principle of this method in full operation in each and every one of them. Why not discard and tear off the encumbering theories and explanations, and avail yourself of the advantage of employing the essential method underlying all of the forms and theories? Truth, at the last, is always found to be simple. And, in the case of this formula, the very simplicity of the operation is a convincing proof of its truth, particularly when a little experiment and practice will prove its availability in all cases. Analyze all other forms of mental treatment or mentalism, and see whether the principles of this formula are not involved in them, and form their very essence. The beauty of this formula is its simplicity and its capacity for universal application. It may be applied under 1,000 forms or disguises, but the principle remains unchanged. In conclusion, remember that mentalism in a nutshell is the idea conveyed by the symbol of the mental magic lantern, with concentrated will as the light, mental image as the pictured slide, the projected idea as the picture thrown on the screen, and the objective world, of persons, things and conditions as the plane surface on which the picture is thrown. Add to this the fact that mental images materialize in response to the law of attraction, and you have the entire story of mentalism. Reread your books on this subject. Listen to the teachings of the cults and the schools. Then when you have finished with them, ask yourself calmly if the mental magic lantern does not give you the best symbol of the best methods of each and all of them, reduced to the ultimate analysis and divested of useless fringe, trimming, theory and detail. Then, practice mentalism along these lines. The rest is a matter of patience, practice and persistency. We have given you the first and the last word in the practice of mentalism.